Hello. This week we watched Avengers Infinity War. And just on the off chance that you have been living under a rock for the past 10 years, Infinity War is the almost culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, involving heroes from the Iron Man franchise, Captain America, Thor, and then everybody from the Avengers movies, Black Widow, the Hulk is here, everybody's here. This movie is about the Avengers and I guess their friends at this point, fighting against Thanos as he tries to eliminate half of all life in the universe in an effort to bring things into perfect balance. Again, if for some reason you haven't seen this movie, make sure you go watch it. It's a good one. It's worth your time. But you might want to get at least a little bit caught up on some of the other Marvel movies. If you are for some reason going into this blind, you might want to catch up just a little bit, give you a little bit of homework here. You're going to want to watch the first two Avengers movies, Captain America Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and Doctor Strange and Black Panther. Those should give you enough of a primer, and probably Thor Ragnarok as well, actually. Thor plays a pretty big role in this movie. Again, everybody has seen this movie. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is the biggest franchise on the planet, and these movies are everywhere. So in the lead up to Endgame coming out this weekend, we decided to revisit Infinity War and give our thoughts on it. This video will be entirely spoiler free, again, on the off chance that you haven't seen it. If you want to hear a little bit more in-depth discussion of really what makes this movie tick and why we are so fond of it, check out the latest episode of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them. It's available here on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts. I'll leave a link somewhere around there. So jumping in, the first thing that I want to say about Avengers Infinity War is that I think it doesn't get enough credit, which might sound weird because, as I said, it's the biggest franchise on planet Earth. But this is an incredibly well-made movie. Everything from the direction to the editing to the score to the acting, the screenplay, everything is just done at such a high level. And I think that because the movie meets and in a lot of ways exceeds the bar that has been set by Marvel movies up to this point, we just kind of take it for granted how much work, how much effort, and how much skill went into making this movie. We see from the DC Cinematic Universe and from how many times that they've tried to start the Fantastic Four, how difficult it really is to get a superhero movie right. And Marvel really does that here. The Russo brothers and Kevin Feige are geniuses in what they've been able to pull off in these last several movies. So the first thing I want to do is just give major props to the Russo brothers and to everybody involved in this behind the scenes. Nobody else could have directed this film and have it come out as good as it did. And again, that's not to take anything away from the screenwriters, from the editors. Everybody involved behind the scenes was operating at the top of their game here, and that's something that shouldn't be ignored. On top of that, every actor in this film just shows up. They give their best performances yet as each of these characters. It is the culmination of 10 years of waiting, and then Endgame is going to be the payoff for all of it. But you see that these actors have lived in and really learned to embody these characters. There are changes that happen over the course of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People are lost, characters learn, they evolve. And the different paths that each individual hero has been on through their films leading up to this prepares them to react in certain ways and to behave certain ways when faced with different circumstances. And those differences between the heroes really set up the most exciting and interesting moments of this film. Jumping back into the screenplay a little bit, I want to give, again, a little bit of credit to the humor here. This movie, between the direction and the screenplay, does such an incredible job of balancing tone between the different heroes that we see throughout this movie's 2.5-hour runtime. The Guardians of the Galaxy sequences specifically are hilarious. The banter between Iron Man and Spider-Man is incredible, as it was in Civil War. The humor doesn't come off as forced. It comes off as in character and very much in line with what we've come to expect from these heroes. And then there's also a lot more dour moments as well. You see specifically the sequences with Captain America and Thor, apart from his interaction with the Guardians of the Galaxy. These are characters that are beaten down, that have had their resolve and their morals tested and pushed to their extreme. That's another part of what makes this movie so interesting, is that we have seen these characters progress. I mean, at the end of Ragnarok, Thor is just freaking crazy powerful, and we see him and every other character in this movie that has evolved over time and become more powerful, Scarlet Witch, Vision, all of these people, we see them pushed to their absolute limits. And that creates a conflict that is interesting because it feels like there are stakes. Things could go wrong at any time, and they frequently do. This is all, of course, at the hands of Thanos, who has got to be one of the best villains ever put to film. Not only are his motivations very clear, his philosophy is very clear, but he is relatable. Even if you don't agree with what he's trying to do, the reasons that he lays out for why he is doing it makes sense, and you can see where there is a logical path there. He is the mirror of the Avengers. In his mind, he is trying to save the universe, and he is the only one who is capable of doing it. You could very easily watch this movie with Thanos as the protagonist, and him having to beat down these obstacles and make these sacrifices. That's, again, another strength to the screenplay and to the acting. You feel everything in this movie, from the humor to the seriousness to the infamous last, 10 minutes or so, which are just... how do you even react to that? Again, these are characters that you've come to know and love, and what happens is just phenomenal. And continuing on with Thanos, Josh Brolin turns out an amazing performance. He is terrifying, truly terrifying. The heroes of this movie are scared of him, and they should be. They show very early on just how strong he is, and he only gets stronger. That fear that we feel towards Thanos is really due to the performance that Josh Brolin puts in here. He is incredible. And without getting into spoilers too much, I think my true favorite thing about this film is that it has some guts. It goes where no Marvel movie has gone before, and it puts our heroes in positions that they've never been in before. The DC Cinematic Universe, they try and be so grounded and gritty and dark, but you never feel for those characters the way that you feel for the characters here. And when they are pushed and when they are tested, you feel for them. And that's, again, a testament to the strong writing and to the strong direction and just the amount of work that has been put in to make the Marvel Cinematic Universe what it is. Avengers Endgame comes out this weekend, and I could not be more excited. I never read comic books growing up. I still don't read comic books. But these are characters that I've gotten to know over the last 10 years. I grew up with Iron Man and with Captain America, and I cannot wait to see how this phase of the story ends. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have my hopes, I have my theories. If you want to hear about those, again, make sure you check out the latest episode of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, available here on YouTube or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And get ready to join us this weekend as we will be going through Endgame, talking about what we like, what we don't like, and our final thoughts on this phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Overall, I'm going to give Avengers Infinity War a 9 out of 10. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts, as well as my co-hosts on the podcast, please check us out wherever you can find podcasts or here on YouTube.